Woo! Okay. We're going to be covering this store right here, and this actually did $10,000 in the very first month of launching. Now, I broke down this entire landing page and the other section under the landing page section, and you can see exactly how I broke this down. So now we're going to go into the ad account. So there's a couple things I want to actually go over that'll really help. Now, this is actually an interesting product to break down. Obviously, selling bidets it was a trend, right? It's a huge trend. Now, what's interesting, and I cover in later videos, is this company right here, Clearrear. The reason why I like to cover them is because they understand marketing very well, and I know there are other products that they advertise as well, and they understand marketing. If you guys have ever seen the Magnasols, like if you guys have seen Magnasols, that product, they also did that product too. So it's the same people, they kind of just replicate the process. So once again, you can see that they're scaling to the moon, and this is in a very kind of competitive industry. And right now they're actually not advertising their Google ad for whatever reason. It actually was here recently, but now for whatever reason they're not. But they do have their SCAGs, at least for their brand campaign. And it goes to this page, right? So what I want to actually break down is obviously this store, and what we're going to look at is inside the account, because they did well. Like this student, they did well. It was still a 2.43 in a very competitive industry. And if we look at like the trend, obviously, you know, it was a huge spike, but a lot of people knew about this product, tons of people, but yet it was still profitable. But what I want to reiterate is that you don't want to hop into trends. You want to have a consistent business. If there was no spike, and if it was just like literally this, if it was just a flat kind of curve and you were advertising this product, you would still be at like a 3 return on ad spend if you had your ad set up exactly how you have it right now. I'm not kidding. However, what's interesting is if we look right now, right, it's 15,000 searches a month, right? I just like to sometimes see the search volume. It's not going to determine whether I go into the niche or not. But what is interesting is now the landscape is leveling out. So if we looked at the last kind of case study with the resistance band, that is very competitive. But now this landscape, a lot of people are dropping off like flies. Like, yes, there's still drop shippers. Would I get into this right now? Probably not. Like, actually, definitely not, because I see this drop shipper, it's just not something I would want to get into. However, what I will say is that this is definitely getting a lot better as far as it's not absolutely packed to the brim with like Wish and whatever other drop shippers up here. So it's starting to level off as this trend kind of slows down. People are like, oh, you can't make money now. So that's fine. But let's go back into the account and analyze some key things that you guys can take away. So first of all, what I noticed is that if we look at day 1 of when they launched and then the last day of when they stopped the product, it's actually kind of interesting. So when they launched right here, boom, first day, they got 5 conversions at a 7 return on ad spend, and they made about $395 in conversion value, and we don't know actually how much inside the Shopify account. But if we look at when they stopped the ads, which is interesting, they still were at a 2.7 return on ad spend on the very last day for conversions. So, you know, what this tells me is that there's still life in this product. I don't think it was a dead product or it's dead at all. I mean, you have 111 conversions, and actually just, you know, at least in the month, you made it $10,000. You can actually, once again, optimize your account and take this to Facebook. But let's actually see what brought in a majority of the sales first. So let's actually look at the shopping campaigns. So we're going to look at the overview of all the shopping campaigns, and we're going to look at return on ad spend. So 2.8 with your shopping campaign. Okay, and what did this actually bring as far as conversion value? We see that this brought in only $3,067. That is interesting to me. Your shopping campaign should do a lot better than that. So we're going to deep dive into that, but let's look at the search campaign. So now what we're going to look at is how much conversion value over cost is a 2.25, but it looks like this actually brought in a lot of the conversion value. So $6,000. So SCAGs. Okay, interesting. So let's actually look at the shopping campaign first. What was going on here? So when we look at the campaigns, I see that this is actually broken out pretty well. We have our top of funnel high, low, advanced titles, perfect, medium. So if I'm to zoom in here, what I'm seeing is that they followed it to the T. Big net, so they're testing literally everything, which is perfect. But let's actually see how this was. So if we look at the top of funnel high, I'm looking at the conversion value. So they were actually at a 4.8 return on ad spend. This is good. You need to let this run. This is exactly what you want. And if we look at the low, where if we just had these two campaigns, top of funnel low and high, let's just imagine we had those two. Look, we're at a 2.75 return on ad spend and a 4.8. You blend those together, it's like a 3. Wow, that's pretty good. And I would have definitely kind of left this running. I definitely wouldn't have turned it off, and I wouldn't have, left any of these other campaigns on either. And let's see how much he spent. So he only spent 300. There's still so much optimization in this account, in my opinion. So if this was a product in a more consistent niche, I would say this is not a bad idea. So let's actually look at what you were showing up for. So if we look through, we see that a lot of this, attachable bidet, I'm gonna first go through some of the terms. Bidet at Costco, I might exclude that. Bummy bidet, okay, so see, you even got some brand traffic here. Happy Pro Toilet. Okay, so I'm looking through and seeing if it's relevant, and I do. So now what is the next thing I like to do? Well, I like to actually sort by conversions, which it is. So let's see. Let's actually sort by cost. Now we're gonna go over and we're gonna look and see what exactly, so we have some excluded terms. This is perfect, and if you notice, we're excluding these terms for certain shopping campaigns, right? This is exactly what we teach in the course. Perfect. And so what I'm seeing is that this is structured very well. Sure, maybe there's a couple more terms we can exclude, and that's fine. But what I see is that maybe there should have been a little bit more patience with this product. Now I understand it's a bidet and it's just kind of competitive, and it was, you did take a chance on trying to ride a trend, but in my opinion, you structured this very well. And another thing I would add is you probably could have upped your budget a little bit for your shopping campaigns. Let's look at your best performing one. Let's actually look at the settings. What were the settings of your best performing shopping campaign? Ooh, another thing I noticed, budget of only $20 a day. Yeah, this is not good. You want to up your budget. Like, you were at a 4.8 return on ad spend, you probably throttled your results, meaning your ad could have showed up a lot more. Especially if you see limited by budget, I'll usually up the budget 2x. So if I'm at $50 a day, at least 100. Sometimes it'll say you should go up to 200. I don't like to do it that quickly, but regardless, manual CPC. So there was still a lot you could do with this, because you can change the bid strategy, and we can go to target ROAS, right? So there's there's still some life in this product, and you're only targeting the United States. So I'm not sure if you're drop shipping or you had stock. You can do United States, Canada, Australia. You can kind of break this out. So I hope you guys are finding this valuable, because this is very interesting, and maybe you can kind of relate to some of these points. Give it some life. Don't throttle the budget if you're seeing some good results. I was actually just talking to another student, and they're at like a 10 return on ad spend, but their target ROAS, like, they put it at like 1,000% or something. It was like ridiculously high. It's like a 1,200%. And so they were spending very little. So sometimes you need to open up the airways and just kind of let it like spend a little bit more. 5 return on ad spend is great, 7 return on ad spend is great, and just kind of work with whatever your account gives you and see, like, okay, I have my base with Google ads. Maybe I can now have another base with Facebook ads, right? And guys, if we go through the landing page, it's done just exactly how we show in the course, right? Very well done. I don't want to bore you guys by going through it again, but this is done very well. And I could see that if we look at the competition, if we look at some of the competition like Tushy, this is where they took a lot of their inspiration from. But we can see that there's different competitors with different price points that obviously are different products. And so if people are looking for, let's just say, this kind of different attachment, more like Tushy, let's see. We could see that it's pretty similar as far as the overall look and feel. So we could see definitely where they took their inspiration. But regardless, Tushy, they're a legitimate brand. Let's see if they actually have any traffic. And they do. So this is interesting. So let me go back. So they do have traffic, like they have actually a crap ton. Wow, 900,000 visitors. That is insane. And then it kind of dropped right here. But regardless, you could see beforehand without like the spike, January and then February, they're still at 300,000 visitors a month, which tells me that there is a market for this. Okay, there is a market for selling these cool bidets. Very cool. So what I would say as a couple key takeaways in this account is, of course, we looked at the shopping, but now let's go ahead and look at the search. And a couple key takeaways already I would say is that we need to give it some time. There's still a lot of like adjustments you can do, and also look at the data because you definitely had some good return on ad spend. So now let's look at the search campaign, because this is what you've decided to spend the most on. So let's actually look and see, if we look at all your campaigns, which one did the best. So you tried target CPA. Okay, what kind of results are we looking at here? Let's look at conversions. Okay, so brand search campaign did the best, of course. So let's see what we got here. So 4.7 all-star keyword campaigns. We're gonna dissect some of these. So if we look, the brand search campaign, which is just for their brand, obviously is converting really well, but no one would have noticed if they weren't advertising. So it's kind of a full funnel if you think about it. So this kind of helps profitability. That's great. So what we're gonna do is all-star keyword campaign. And there's only a couple in here. See, the issue is you wanna have, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, you should have at least 12. Like at least 12 different ad groups, because there's a lot of different things you can do with bidets and different things that people are typing in with bidets. So I would say that this account isn't really maxed out to its full potential. So non-electric bidet, this is really creative. I like some of the things that you picked here. Bidet attachments, exact, okay. Let's see what was your best one. Let me exit out of here. Columns, conversions. Let's see. Okay, bidet toilet attachment. Not sure why you would pause this one. This wasn't your best. This was your best one, but it's okay. Let's see. It was, okay, cool. So this was the modified broad match, okay? And this did really well. And what we could do is when we look inside the search terms, right? Hopefully you guys are finding this repetitive a little bit. We could see what was converting. Can we make another scag? Bidet, oh, look at that, bidet seat attachment. And what is this campaign actually called? So this campaign is actually bidet toilet attachment. Look, you have a winner right here, bidet seat attachment. All right, let me do one more thing. Okay, I'm typing in bidet seat attachment, and look, there's some people actually bidding on this right now. It tells me it is probably profitable, but they're not actually doing this exact match type of style, right, of scags. Get Clear Rear, so this is the company that, you know, we kind of dissected. Bidet toilet attachment, but bidet seat attachment, look, there's still 480 people searching a month. It's not necessarily the most accurate, because if we look, you got 6 conversions from it at 71 cents cost per conversion. That is pretty sweet. So I would have actually broken this off. Let's see if you did do that. Maybe you did. Let's see. So we're gonna go to your ad groups. We're gonna say bidet, you did. Bidet seat attachment, but you let this run, $49 spent. See, you didn't spend enough on this one. This is definitely, like, there's definitely some type of winner here. And I know, okay, you spent $41 here, but still, like, if we look at the search terms, okay, this is the winning term, right? Bidet seat attachment. And you actually only spent $5 on this one, right? You spent $5. And then there's these other terms that were showing up that honestly you should exclude. Bidet attachments for toilets, bidet electric attachment. Like, unless those got a conversion, like, we're trying to be very specific. So we want pretty much, if I see that it's spending on all these random ones, I want just bidet seat attachment, right? Does that make sense? So even though it looks like, well, Charlie, I spent and it didn't work. Well, did you really though? You know, look inside the search terms. So let's keep going. That's interesting though. And if we look at non-electric bidet, so once again, I'll reiterate, there's a lot I think left to do in this account. And look, if you can take this just process of exactly what I'm explaining, exactly what this person is doing, and you apply it to a different product with lower competition, you'll have such an easier time seeing traction. But regardless, I would definitely break these out more And so that's my suggestion. And if we look at, let's just say the SCAG long tail keywords. Okay, so now we have a ton of these right here that they broke down. Okay, let's search and see which one was the best one. Bidet attachment, warm water. Dang, okay, cool, but that was only one conversion. Let's see, okay, this one got 10. Let's see what it is. Bidet toilet attachment. Okay, cool. So very specific. And what you can do is after you start seeing your SCAGs working and you see what's kind of converting, and if you need extra ideas for your shopping campaign, you can throw some of these terms in the front of your shopping campaign listing, right? So, sorry guys, I'm trying to zoom in to emphasize, but my zooms suck. So if we keep going, bidet shop. Okay, so I see that there's a lot that you can do still with this account. I like everything you structured. What you structured is very good, but there's still, you can go a little bit deeper, which maybe you are. Maybe you start a different product because you don't see a long-term vision with this, and so that's fantastic. So overall, this is good, and definitely I would just add more negative keywords and be more specific with a lot of the campaigns you have going on. So this is great. And guys, I hope you actually watch this video a couple times. There's definitely a lot of key nuggets I think you can apply to your campaign at different stages of your e-commerce business. But regardless, let's continue to the next video.